2022. I think it's been a while.
I don't know if you just saw what I did. I was literally putting this up, but it made my nose go down, and the bouquet on this wine is freaking amazing. The nose on this is bananas. Ironically, bananas in it as well.
To make collage, so that is
really well made. This is very elegant, but that banana on the nose and the mango, like this nose is worth the price of admission. This nose is worth the price of admission. For 20 bucks, for 25 bucks, for even 30 bucks, because that's where I thought you were going. Opening this and just smelling it. And I know people are like, what are you talking about? Well, here's what I'm talking about. People spend a lot of money on perfume. People spend a lot of money on potpourri. People spend a lot of money on flowers, fresh cut, in their home. People's love affair of sensory in smell is real. And I'm telling you, this wine is worth 30 bucks just to smell for an hour. Hello everybody, welcome to September's Wine of the Month Club. I am Gary Vaynerchuk here with my best friend, Brandon Warnicki. I kind of really like doing that, Brandon. I don't know why I like that. My best friend. He's my best friend. Best friend, what do we have here first?
Okay, so we're starting with the Burgundy here. This is the Cecile Paquet Mekong Village 2022. I think it's been a while since we've had a
By the way, I don't know if you just saw what I did. I was literally putting this up, but it made my nose go down, and the bouquet on this wine is freaking amazing.
It's crazy, right?
Holy
It's crazy.
crap.
Right? And I actually just opened these myself. I should have opened them earlier. But I was actually thinking the same thing.
The nose on this is bananas. Ironically, bananas in it as well.
So this is a producer. Again, it's a Mekong Village. So that is what to look for when you're talking about Burgundy. Ready to drink, obviously, in 2022. A great vintage in Burgundy, and coming off the heel of a couple of vintages where, you know, let's face it, there's not a lot of Burgundy to begin with. In most cases, 2020 was that situation. In 2021, because of ridiculous frost, they lost like 80% of the crop. So 2021 was non-existent. 2022, though, there is some quantity, and the quality is very, very strong. And this, for, you know, a Mekong Village for a great producer, certified organic, they're practicing biodynamic. This is a Chardonnay I think people will like.
Yeah, 100% Chardonnay for the people at home, and for the vlog, who probably is going to get a little clip of this, and the wine club that's watching. The reality is that these Chardonnays from Burgundy in France taste very different than the Chardonnay that you're having from the supermarket or the wine shop or the liquor store from the US. They have less oak, they have less butter, there's more stone fruit, there's more stone. Kind of like, think crushed rocks, think oyster shells, kind of that blue, flinty, salty thing going on. Really well made. This is very elegant, but that banana on the nose and the mango, like this nose is worth the price of admission. This nose is worth the price of admission. This wine, how much is this wine suggested retail? Roughly?
20, 25.
Yeah, this, for 20 bucks, for 25 bucks, for even 30 bucks, because that's where I thought you were going. Opening this and just smelling it. And I know people are like, what are you talking about? Well, here's what I'm talking about. People spend a lot of money on perfume. People spend a lot of money on potpourri. People spend a lot of money on flowers, fresh cut, in their home. People's love affair of sensory in smell is real. And I'm telling you, this wine is worth 30 bucks just to smell for an hour.
It jumps out. We tasted this with the staff. This is the first time the staff tasted it last week. And that came off immediately as well. So many people commented on it. So it literally like fills the room instantly. Super, super high quality Chardonnay, and a good introduction to Burgundy to some of you who may drink Chardonnay constantly and just go to California.
No. That's not true. For all of the people watching who decided they don't drink Chardonnay because they've decided they're fancy and they think Chardonnay sucks, and they don't realize that white Burgundy might be some of the best wines in the world, period, end of story. Speaking of underrated wine, I think Côte d'Rône continues to be a place that is wildly underrated.
Yes, for sure. And in this case, so this is a producer. This is not just people see. Obviously, it's Côte d'Rône, which so many people are familiar with. And if you look closer, this is a Côte d'Rône village. It's from Segre, which is one of the individual villages there. Much, much higher quality when you're talking about Côte d'Rône in general. And in fact, people that are drinking Chateau de Pape or things like that, like these wines are, you know, in a word, I think one of the better values. But again, they're not like inexpensive. This is $30 to $40, you know, Côte d'Rône.
No, this is Chateau de Pape in disguise.
Yeah,
you know.
Right. So again, talking mostly Grenache. This is more than half Grenache, 60-70% Grenache. The rest is Syrah. Great wine in between the seasons.
So silky, smooth. Jesus Christ.
Delicious. Great barbecue wine. You know, perfect in between summer and fall.
Silk. Silk, Brandon. Wow. Tobacco, chocolate, violets, roses, like red flowers is where I'm going with that. The chocolate, beef jerky, kind of like that really smoky cigar tobacco thing going on. Like, talk about a wine that I would have with a steak immediately. And you don't expect that from Côte d'Or Village, even when it's single vineyard, even when it's profound. But this is what did this score, Brandon?
90, 92 or 93, something like that.
Makes sense.
Well, which is solid.
No, I think you're a little, like, the scores, that's a very high score. I think we're just so used to, we spend our lives, don't forget, Brandon, I said this to somebody the other day, I wanted to say this to you, actually. Brandon, there are millions of wines made. Most don't get 90 points. We spend 100% of our time trying to find wines for people that are rated 90 points and higher at a good deal. But, like, I think it's almost like we take all these wines for granted in comparison to every wine made in the world.
Yeah, for sure, in a way.
Isn't that interesting?
And all we look at all day.
By the way, it's why I'm so passionate about Wine Text. Vlog, sign up for winetext.com. We look at tens of thousands of wines to buy 365 wines a year. The 365 best deals that we, as one of the biggest wine companies, retailers in America, can find with all our buying power and charisma and relationships and all that, only 365.
That is a point I think we need to make more is, because people get the wine text and they see it, every deal looks great. Like, how can every deal look great? And if they
because every deal is great. We look at 10,000. Yeah, I feel like with the next wine text, we should just put out an average thing. Like, here's a crappy $80 wine. There you go. Speaking of a wine text wine that blew people away.
So this is Brunello. This is the E. Palazzi 2018 Brunello. So we were just talking about Brunello before we got on here. I mean, what else to really say, right? Like, Brunello is one of the most iconic names when you can think about Italian wine from all standpoints. Incredibly popular. 18 was a strong vintage, a drinking vintage, or a vintage that can age as well.
Beautiful.
This is what you think about, right? I remember when I first started, it was Barolo, Barbaresco, Brunello, right?
Yeah, the 3 Bs. Yep. I think on this one, on the Palazzi, it has what I'm obsessed with Brunello with, which is you give me sour cherries. Like, there's just like this Persian fruit roll-up thing that I just recently had that I was in love with. And like a Persian tea. Like, to me, the reason I love Brunello is the sour cherry, the sour, or like almost like eating a cranberry that this gives me in a medium to full body environment that makes me think about duck, makes me think about pork, makes me think about some of these different things that I would pair it with, is just so elegant and so well made, but tons of power, beautiful flavors. But it is that sour red fruit, cherry, cranberry that just gets me every time on this. And it's why I drink Brunello during Thanksgiving, Brand. I know,
is that right?
Yeah, people go Zinfandel, I know, Syrah,
Pinot.
Pinot, turkey is dry. My turkey's not dry, they're all dry. But this really hits the mark for me always, because it's the reason I love cranberry sauce with turkey, and I get that sour thing from Brunello's, and I like to pair them.
Interesting. I think out of those three that we just talked about, Barbaresco, Barolo, Brunello, we continue to sell more Brunello of the three, I think, in general, just because. And I personally
am a bigger fan of Barolo.
Barolo, yes, 100%.
I love Barolo. I freaking love it.
100%. And it's, I mean, in terms of collectible, I would say, and you said this before, right? Barolo and Burgundy, like, you can draw a lot.
I'm so right about that, I think. I really do.
Correct.
But Brunello, for a lot of people that are watching, they're more Sassicaia, they're more Tignanello, they're more Super Tuscans, and Brunellos feed them more. I just subjectively, Chinon, Barolo, like I get a little bit more funky, but like if you want the fruit and the power, Brunello is going to be your wine. And I actually think Cabernet drinkers tend to like Brunello better than Barolo.
Absolutely.